Hello, 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 everyone. This is Thank God for the Group Chat. You are here with Keith and Victoria. Um, Maybe Jared will come later. Who knows? We'll see. More than likely, I'll give it a 70% chance that he'll show up much later. But if not, it's just the two of us, and it's fine. I'm trying to have high energy today. Because I realized the last few podcasts they've started off like very like real like even keel as it should, but like
Melancholy.
not
Is that the right
melancholy,
word? No.
not melancholy because melancholy is like extremely sad, but
Oh,
like I just
okay.
mean like in tone.
Mm.
So I'm trying to do better with that lately. What's going on with you?
I'm good overall. Yeah. Um, I don't know. I feel like I've just been taking a lot of time to myself and not so much like engaging in a lot of discussions. But yeah, it's like
What
taking it.
what discussions are you deciding not to engage in?
There's so many.
I know.
There's so like honestly, it got to a point of just like overwhelm
Yeah.
because I was also just becoming more educated, courtesy of my sister, just of like things happening. Like, of course, we know everything that's happening here, but then it's just like she's very into this stuff. And so, even talking to her and hearing and learning more about just the breadth of things happening like worldwide, it's just,
Yeah.
I was like, I can't, I was like, I just need to not talk to, like, I just need to be able to take pretty pictures this weekend, just
I feel
pretend
you.
nothing is going on. Which even then felt weird and selfish, but
Nah, you
here
gotta
we
do what
are.
you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. I don't think it's selfish in the I don't think it's selfish. I was gonna say in the long run, but at the middle of the day it's not selfish at all. Like taking
Yeah.
time to yourself is important and is beneficial for other people. People don't often see it as that because it's like, well, I want your take on this. I want to know where you are with this. And it's like, fam, getting my raw emotions and getting how I feel about something, like whenever you want that information to be dealt to you, isn't always the best thing,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I know it's not selfish, but it's a mind thing. It's a, yeah, now.
I know.
And
I
not having
know.
a solution. I think that's also part of it. It's just like
Yeah.
feeling very helpless.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah.
par for the course, I suppose. For me, at least. I don't know. But yeah, overall, though, I am fine.
With that said, we are not giving any energy to Kanye West this week.
I don't have
Not,
time for it. Y'all just
not,
pray for him.
That's pretty much it. And so I just want to get that off the table real quick. Like, oh, we want your take on Kanye West. We have none.
Right.
We said everything that we needed to say. Um, what do you think about doing a word of the day?
I'm down for it.
We used to do word. We used to do a lot of stuff.
We did. We had whole segments. We had like a whole
We back. You ain't
structure.
read. You
I
ain't
did
read
see
it.
it, and I was like, interesting.
Why is it interesting?
I'm just curious to see if it's going to keep up.
Huh?
I'm not saying that it won't. I don't know. I feel like we switched structures.
We did because Lon
Was doing his thing.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I just said it was interesting.
Wait, what happened was I moved to New Jersey. So Lon started doing his own thing, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And Lon does his own thing because as the host, you have to be comfortable with the format. You know what I mean? You have to be comfortable with taking it wherever you need to take it. But I also wasn't here to be able to say like, yo, let's divvy this up. Let's say this, that, and the third. So I get it. But I recognize that. And so I'm like, okay, we need to go back to segments. Because we used to have like a segment for Jared too. unbeknownst to him, but it was
We
a
did.
segment for him.
It I don't know. I feel like it just appeared. Just like here's your section.
We did. But no, we back. We back. Don't worry about it. I look at things, I assess, and I try to improve. So
Appreciate it.
So Nick Cannon got fired this week by Viacom. He's worked at Viacom since he was 17 years old. I think since he was 17 years old. He was like he was the youngest writer on Viacom when he was 17. Why? Why did he get fired?
Honestly, I have not really read much into this. Apparently, he said something along the line. The high level that I have is he said that Black people were the original Jews and some other stuff. And basically, it was deemed as being anti-Semitic.
Yes.
So he got fired, and no one likes him right now. And he's posted some troubling things.
TheSun.com says, this is courtesy of TheSun.com. In his podcast, Nick and Richard Professor Griffith, sheesh, that's his name, Griffith?
Yeah.
The former hip-hop Public Enemy member discussed racial bias. He and Professor Griff said that Black people are the true Hebrews and that Jews have usurped their identity. Cannon said, when we are the same people who they want to be, that's our birthright. We are the true Hebrews. The rapper then discussed skin color and claimed that people without dark skin live in fear. And I'm going to say this carefully, he begins, to allege that people who lack sufficient melanin are a little less, quote unquote, a little less. Those without dark skin have a deficiency that historically forced them to act out of fear and commit acts of violence to survive, he said. They had to be savages, Nick said, adding that he was referring to Jewish people, white people, Europeans, among others. The podcast reportedly was filmed last year and aired 2 weeks ago. So, yeah.
It's a lot of statements.
There's a lot
of statements made.
But are they false statements?
That's what I was like, let's skip. No, we don't have to skip. But I also was like, well, I guess I'm struggling to see it's almost one of those things of like, I get where he's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think my thing is this. I think I'm sad that he got fired from his job, honestly. I don't know that this was this a fireable offense? I don't know. I'm just like, if he's not educated, just
what?
Just educate. But I hate saying
educated
that.
On what?
It's not my thing to educate you either, because I don't really know.
But educated on what?
I mean, people are yelling this is anti-Semitic. Okay.
All right, let's look up anti-Semitic.
How? Explain it.
Let's look up anti-Semitic. I've actually already looked it up. I've actually already known what it is, but let's look it up for everyone else.
And so we're clear, I'm not saying it is or it is not. I'm just asking questions.
Okay, we gonna get to the rooter to the tutor. Yeah, maybe shouldn't have said that, but whatever. You think of John Witherspoon? I think of John Witherspoon. Did you know that he ate grapes, right? And then the next scene, he was on the toilet. It never crossed my mind that was why he was on the toilet.
Okay.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you for making that connection.
You're welcome. For all of you, a 20+ year mystery has now been solved.
Because we were all wondering.
Yes.
Not that look in the camera. Get out of here. Nah. Lord.
Definition of anti-Semitic: relating to or characterized by anti-Semitism. Semitism, feeling or showing hostility toward or discrimination against Jews as a cultural, racial, or ethnic group. So them saying that his claims were anti-Semitic, I don't think it is. I think he's saying that another people group is Jewish and not the other group. So I don't know how that's anti-Semitic. I'm just saying that people that claim to be Jewish or say that they're Jewish aren't necessarily Jewish.
I feel like I wonder if the anti-Semitic feelings came when he like threw in words like savage.
He was saying Europeans are savages.
Oh wait, but what'd you say after that? You said like, but wasn't there something after that where he like further qualified who was being referenced as savages? I thought you said he was throwing in like European Jewish people.
Let me go back to it.
So on and so forth.
They had to be savages. Nick said, adding that he was referring to Jewish people, white people, okay, Europeans, among others. Okay.
So that part, for me, like that, when you were first reading it, like that was the part I was like.
But here's, I think people, they take clips and they don't look at things in context. It says that they had to be savages, as in they might not necessarily were savages in fact, but they had to appear a certain way and they had to do certain things. So the difference in when we're called savages is we're called savages because they think that they act as though that's just our nature. When he's saying that they were savages, he was saying that they had to move in this particular way. We hear all the time about people dressing in particular garb back in the day, and I mean way back in the day. They dressed a certain way so that they can appear animalistic in order to deter and intimidate the other people group. I want to say that I'm not caping for him, but I definitely am. I don't think that this is one of those things. I think this is a situation where someone came across this and they were like, wait a minute, we want to be enraged about something. And I think Viacom, I think it's what I talked about. It's what I always talk about, especially when I talk about Drake. I talk about Drake being the golden child. Drake is the golden child because Drake is a part of the popular people group, the people that define culture and push the needle and push the envelope, as in Black people. And he is also Jewish, the people that have control over the entertainment industry. Mm-hmm. And so Viacom just brought that to light. It's like they're in power and they are in control, and you don't want to piss off the people that are in control.
I get it. I mean, I also wonder if it's like because sometimes I wonder when people hear statements like that, because when I listen to it, I'm thinking like he's speaking more biblically leaning.
Okay.
And I wonder if people hear certain comments in the context, like the historical context that they immediately go to, it's just like more like modern day Jewish history, i.e. like the Holocaust and things like that. So right. I wonder if people have given it space to be viewed from, why are you like this? This is not a Sprite commercial.
You don't like to hear liquid noises?
So I don't mind it. It's just like the intentionality that you put behind trying to make sure we heard it on camera.
I apologize.
But yeah, so honestly, part of me, as I listened to that and just listened to how his comment, like the quote you read, how it started, and then just also looking at, just like presently anti-Semitic rhetoric, like are we thinking of it in the right frame of mind?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I feel like where he was coming from, like it to me read more like biblically leaning in that historical context versus like Jews who people think of like, oh, they went through the Holocaust, and then where it's like savage being used. So I don't know. There's just a lot. There's a lot to it, and but honestly, at the end of the day, I'm not into. I don't know. I just feel bad for the fact that like he was just let go so quick.
Well, he did. He issued an apology, and so first the Jewish people were highly upset. And then he issued an apology, and all of the black people became upset. Like, what are you about?
See, that's the troublesome. It's just like sometimes if you say something, don't. Granted, I have not read. I feel like I should not be commenting on any of this because I've done the bare minimum and keep in understanding what all is going on.
Well, thank you for the disclaimer. She has done no research on this.
No research. Yeah, here I am talking about it.
You like the rest of the world?
I need to read the. I mean, I was just like in the grand scheme of things, can't take this on right now. Can't take this on right now. I was like, well, I forgot what I was about to say. It really doesn't matter.
Well, Nick Cannon apologized. Oprah Winfrey offered Nick Cannon $10 million. From what I hear, this might not be true or anything, but I did read an article, a small article about Oprah Winfrey offering Nick Cannon $10 million to bring Wildin' Out over to OWN. And
girl, what?
I hope it's a joke, but it's
that don't even make sense.
It's the last show that I want to see on
OWN. Like, can you imagine how the intro would change?
Imagine.
I just I'm already annoyed. Like, no, we don't need that.
You gotta be real soft and somber. Like, y'all can't be wilding.
Welcome to Wildin' Out.
Yeah, what wilding? It would change the wilding. You have
Wilding Out.
Wilding Out.
Have a Yamla.
Ayala come on there like, yo, I beef with DMX. And I had the top spot. I looked DMX in his face and said, not on my watch.
Yo, he is
not on my watch.
Honestly, though, some of my favorite clips have come from, like, some of my favorite television clips have come from Ayala Fix My Life. I can't even front.
She told DMX that he don't get to talk to her ever. What type of therapist are you where I can't talk about it?
Not a real one.
I can't talk to you ever. How are you supposed to therapize me?
She's like yelling at people, making them do uncomfortable things and saying it's therapy. I'm like, I don't think this is helping anybody. Sounds like you're just re-traumatizing these poor people.
Speaking of DMX, do you care? I care. No. This is important. I know you care. I super care about this.
It's just like, okay.
So, DMX and Snoop Dogg are going to be the next verses. And I'm wondering if this is a good pairing or not. I got it immediately. I'm like, oh, you're trying to pin the two dogs together. But this doesn't always make for the greatest matchup. Like when you're looking for comparisons, you know, like it doesn't always make. These are people of two different genres, which also helps. It definitely helps that I do like seeing people juxtapose to one another and you putting song up against song. I love that. But I don't know. This one is a little bit different for me because DMX and Snoop Dogg started in like the early 90s, right? Mm-hmm. So he's got songs from He's got songs from the early 90s well into 2018 at the very least.
Yeah.
So this is decades of music. DMX was hot for, and I say hot. When I mean hot for a decade at the most.
Yeah.
DMX like got really started heating up in I'll say from 96, and I'm being careful with that. So 96, 97 to maybe 05, 06. So maybe like definitely a strong decade in there for DMX.
Yeah.
So I just think Snoop Dogg has a lot more to pick from.
I think that's why the matchup confused me. I was like, just off rip, I was like, the catalogs alone, I was like, it just didn't feel fair. I was like, I'm very lost.
It's not,
we're doing
it's
this.
not fair due to the amount of catalog that Snoop has, the length of time in which he had to accumulate said catalog, and the amount of features that Snoop has.
Yeah.
With that said, the mass majority of song, like, and also the difference between the person. This is the major one for me. This is the people, not necessarily the people, but the personalities of the people, of the two people going up against one another, is the main character of the verses. Mm-hmm. So you see the personalities, like whether they clash or whether they are in harmony with one another. That will define it helps define what a great verses is, you know. And so, with that said, Snoop watches every verses that comes out.
Yeah.
Snoop has been studying this thing. Snoop has been inching and chomping at the bit to be a part of one of these. And so I'm sure Snoop has his 20 lined up 10 times over for whomever he was going to battle. Oh, if I'm going to battle Jay-Z, I'm going to play this if he plays that, blah, blah, blah. If I'm to battle this person, I'm going to play this if they play that. So DMX does not care about anything. So do you think that DMX is going to play his top 20 hit songs? No.
Ooh, I hope he plays Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer.
I wish you would not right now.
That's my favorite.
He does not
Christmas
own the
classic.
Right. You don't own the rights to that song.
I'm clear, but just for good measure, he should throw it in there.
Ooh, I wish.
Makes the people happy.
I wish he would play Rudolph.
You would get so many points.
No, he wouldn't. Against what?
Yes, he would.
He's not beating.
Not points in like the actual verses, just enjoyment points.
No. You play that before or after the battle. You don't play that in the middle of the battle. And you know that Snoop is going to be battling and Snoop has gin and juice in the tub. You're not playing that.
Keith, it's a joke. Oh
no, God. I know. I'm doing a podcast. Also, with that said, anything that DMX decides to play that is a hit, I'm going DMX. I don't care.
That's fair.
How's it going down? I don't care if it's up against Drop It Like It's Hot. I'm going How's It Going Down. This is going to be a super biased. This will be my first biased verses for me. It will be. All right.
When is it airing? I don't know.
This versus airs July 22nd on
Wednesday
on Apple Music and Instagram. I'm probably going to try to watch it on Apple Music, but I'll probably be at work, so I won't be able to see it live anyway. So I'll just go to YouTube. Play. Speaking about biased topics, Tory Lanez versus I don't want to say versus. That's not. I don't mean to say versus. Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. Number one, before we get into this anymore, why were they together to begin with? Why were it? They were a couple.
Were they?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not even questioning. Megan gets with and hangs out with the most random assortment of men, and it does not make sense.
I did see her hugged up against like one of those worms
Machine
from
Gun Kelly.
It was a worm from Men in Black.
Oh,
he looked like a worm from Men in Black.
Machine Gun.
You keep saying Machine Gun Kelly, and I keep telling you it's not him. He was black.
Well, I don't know who you're talking about, so I'm giving you all that I have right now.
Some earthworm, gym looking person. So
I don't know what that.
So means. I feel you. So I guess I'm not as surprised as I would have been, or as I was about Tory Lanez. All right, but they were apparently they were an idol. all stallion of her and all 5'2" of him. So what happened, Victoria? Do you know?
I don't. I mean, apparently,
this is such an informative podcast this week. I love it.
I know. I told you already. I was not into anything this past week. From what I know, initially I thought it was something dealing with like she was in a car with somebody. I didn't even know it was Tory Lanez at first. She was in a car with somebody, and people were like, it was a drug deal gone bad, so on and so forth. But now it's come out that apparently Tory Lanez shot her when she was like trying to leave and get away from him or something. And then she had to go to the hospital. All I know is that Megan was in the hospital and had to undergo some sort of surgery to remove the bullets. And she could have lost her life. So,
So according to Billboard.com, on Thursday night, July 16th, Page 6 reported that Tory Lanez allegedly shot Megan Thee Stallion last Sunday following a dispute between the two rappers. Well, one is, I guess you could call him a rapper, I guess. Billboard has independently sourced the allegations. Tory fired the shots from within the vehicle while Megan was outside trying to leave, a source told Page 6. There is video and the police are investigating. This is a case of a man physically harming and abusing a woman. On Wednesday, Megan came forward on Instagram and spoke on the alleged incident, expressing a sense of gratitude after being shot in the foot. She gave a detailed account of what happened. On Sunday morning, I suffered gunshot wounds as a result of a crime that was committed against me and done with the intention to physically harm me, she wrote in the public note. I was never arrested. The police officers drove me to the hospital where I underwent surgery to remove the bullets. I'm incredibly grateful to be alive and that I'm expected to make a full recovery, but it was important for me to clarify the details about this traumatic night. Megan's producer and bodyguard both rallied behind their friend, but issued stern warnings to Lanez, implying that he was the one responsible for her injuries. I hope y'all don't believe he was defending her. This BS story, said Juju made the beat in since deleted tweets this week. If you know me and you know her well enough, and not only do you know I wasn't physically present during Sunday morning's events, but you know why, added her bodyguard in his Instagram story. Lanez was released on Thursday morning and posted a $35,000 bail. He was arrested Sunday night in Los Angeles after cops found a gun in his car. He has not been arrested for the shooting and is expected to claim that it was all accidental. There was more, but I'm done.
Accidental. Okay.
Of course, well, he's expected to claim that he's innocent or that, well, apparently he shot her, but I didn't mean to shoot her, apparently is what he's going to say.
Okay.
In a time where Black power should be at its height. This is a very, very sad story, especially someone of Megan Thee Stallion's caliber at this moment in time. Crossover appeal. A lot of people love her, you know, and especially someone like, and I don't want to get into the whole topic of like, well, this isn't good for your career, but like this couldn't come at a worse time for him. You know, like when he was just starting to gain like real traction and people were really starting to rally around him. The more important thing here is that black men, black men, black men, black men, black men, we must protect our black women at all cost. If we don't do it, we cannot expect anyone else to do it. If we don't do it, we can't expect anyone else to do it. And they need to be, I'm not going to say that they always need to be protected because they can fend for themselves, but at the same time, they shouldn't always have to. And especially not from us. If anyone is supposed to see their worth, we are. We come from black women. You know, no one is more supportive to us than black women. It is super duper uber important to protect our black women. This is not up for debate. Tory Lanez is a sucker, point blank period. And I hope he understands that. And that's all I have to say about that. Victoria.
I mean, in addition to that, like, sure, protect black women, but it's also just like, and I think honestly, this situation was another part of why I just had to like withdraw last week, just because the fact that people were able to like joke about it. And honestly, the main people I saw joking about it were men.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you're able to sit here and joke about it and just turn it into a silly situation, it's very disheartening. Like, it's not, you see stuff like that and it honestly just makes me question. It just makes me further question. I hate to say it, like, it makes me further question black men and like me being able to be comfortable around them, me being able to trust them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, the reality is, like, any time in my life where I felt uncomfortable or felt like my life was being threatened or in danger, it has been at the hands of a black man. So I think having a situation like this where you had a black woman who was shot by a black man, whether he wants to say it was accidental or not, I mean, there are a lot of steps that had to happen before you picked up that gun and shot it, like pointed it towards her and pulled the trigger. So that's questionable at best. But the fact that people can then turn around and make light of it, make memes about it, and be funny, like, it's just not, like, it's exhausting. And I was just like, you know, and it's a part, like, it, I don't know, for me, it just reaffirmed, like, why I personally just, like, tend to stick to myself. I'm very cautious and, like, I'm not the most open to, like, when, like, in terms of, like, bringing men into my life, because, again, it's like you see this behavior time and time again. And it's one of those things of, like, sure, my guy friends may not be ones who do these exact things, but it's still like that, knowing like they probably have friends who do and act just like this and they don't say anything. And so, yeah, it's just, it's very frustrating to have to sit and watch black women just consistently be disrespected in so many ways. And then y'all wonder why, like, we're upset. Like,
and you wonder why they go and marry someone else that doesn't look like you, and you get upset and you call her a sellout. And it's like, this might not have been why I married someone else, but y'all aren't giving us a lot of credence to
right.
believe that we shouldn't go elsewhere if this were the case. And that's just a small part of this bigger issue that we're talking about. Yeah, I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted by him, but I am disgusted at people making jokes about it. I saw Megan Thee Stallion. She posted. She made a statement saying like, "Look, this is my life, and this isn't something that's funny. I'm traumatized by this, and y'all are posting memes and making jokes." And I'll say this, not to shoot us bail as a people, but I do want to bring this to the table. A lot of times, Black people, our way of coping with things is making light of them and making jokes about them. When it comes to someone getting shot, when it comes to someone's life, whether they are a celebrity or not, it's not one of those times. It's the time to really deal with the issue head on, and really deal with it and speak of it as serious as it is. It's not the time to say, well, like, let me see what type of joke can I make out of this. Let me see how famous I can get off of this. Let me see how many times I could get retweeted or reposted from this.
Yeah.
We got to make sure that person is okay. It's like when I want to say it's like when a person falls, but it's not. I don't laugh when people fall. So that's
right.
It's just not me. I don't, the same is true, I guess, in anything like that. Like if someone is harmed, my first inclination is not to laugh or make sure that a person is okay before I laugh.
Yeah.
I don't want to end with we have to do better, but take this and understand this. And women that go around feeling like this and feeling like you have to protect yourself, I don't want you to walk away from this thinking that this is just what you have to do. I'm sorry that this might be your reality, but this isn't something that should be taking place. Please, there are men out there that would love to be around you and don't want to see you be disrespected and will stand up for you. I do pray, and this is a prayer. I sincerely pray that you do find these people and that God is able to surround you with people like that. People that look like you and I that would say, I'm not standing for this. People that you feel comfortable around. And when I say people, I don't just mean women, I mean men as well. That can physically assert a situation if at all possible. Point blank, period. I hate going to clubs. I hate going to clubs. Just number one, because that's not my style. But whenever I'm in a spot like that, in a group of people, and I'm with women, I'm automatically I'm in protection mode, and I can't help it. And that's why I hate it. I'm like, what's going on? Did you want to get this dude your number? Is he talking to you too much? And I have no interest in this woman, but she's my friend, and I want to make sure that she's having a good time and that she feels comfortable. You can't have a good time if you're not comfortable.
Yeah.
Right. This past was it this weekend? No, it was Friday. A few days ago, we lost a couple of titans in the for the civil rights movement. And yes, the civil rights movement is still happening today. Don't think that it's over. It's still happening today. CT, Vivian, and John Robert Lewis. Before I get into like what they've done and reasons why we're super duper uber sad for their passing, Victoria, do you have anything that you want to say in light of?
I mean, like I was really, like Keith said, like I was very sad when I found out they both passed.
Same day.
CT Vivian passed in the morning, and then John Lewis passed that evening, I believe.
Sheesh.
But I think I saw someone post a reminder that even in the sadness of this all, it was a beautiful thing that these two men who dedicated their lives to a cause that in a lot of situations equated to like early death or like that potential being very great for not being able to live out like a full, expected life. Being able to make it to the ages that they made it to.
95 and 80 years old.
Yeah. And so it's just like there is power in that they were able to, dedicate their lives to this cause and live to this point. And it was also just a reminder, because John Lewis, like he was still an active member of Congress. Like this was like he lived his life dedicated to what he was dedicated to. And I think that is something to be commended and also just a reminder, a reminder to just like live your life out and live your life fully.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a tough loss. And then I also just found myself I don't know, I kept grappling with the fact of just like all this fighting and the disrespect that they experience and like the inhumane treatment that they experience and just like the current state of things. I was like, I always wondered, I was just like, how do they feel? Like, cause I feel like whenever you see, these giants who have been at this for forever, who is that? Sorry, this is awkward. When you see these giants, like they still speak so optimistically.
Yeah.
But still part of me just hurts because it's just like that I just wonder, I'm like, but even like your optimism and like encouraging like the younger generation to keep pushing forward, it's just like, I can only imagine how frustrating it is to just see how things are and how much has actually not changed. And I don't know, sometimes I just wonder, like, do they feel that the needle has been moved enough, like based on like the work and like the sacrifices that they made? And like, I'm not saying that like things haven't changed, but I think it's just like the fact that like these underlying issues of like supremacy and just like repression just exist so strongly still today. I think it just sometimes leaves me with the question of like what is the solution? Like when will this end?
I had the privilege of meeting Mr. John Lewis a couple of years ago. Literally 4 years ago today, I met him, actually. July 20th. Like Facebook is so dope, like with the event stuff, like it's crazy. But yeah, so it posted the picture that I posted a few days ago of me standing next to him. I remember like when I met him, I was like, when I was getting ready to meet him, I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I going to say? Number one, to not look like an idiot and to sum up my gratitude in one word, because I know he's a very busy man. You know what I mean? I shook his hand and I was like, I just said, thank you for, I remember saying something to the magnitude of, thank you for helping make this world a better place or something like that. Hopefully he understood what I meant, like even in the little blip of life that we have, like, our life is like that. Like, I do believe that him and CT Vivian helped make this world a better place, like drastically. And so to answer some of the questions that you have in your mind, one of the things he did say was things are different now. He said things are different now and they're not as bad as they were, to paraphrase what he was saying. he was saying that they're not as bad as they were back when I first started, like when I was with the Freedom Riders and all of that type of stuff. But there's still a lot of work to be done. There's still a lot of work to be done. So I'm glad that him and CT Vivian lived to be almost 96 years old. He's got a birthday coming up soon. I'm glad that they both got to outlive and be a part of Martin Luther King's dream. And so yeah, to say that I'm glad to see that he was able to see significant change. Things have changed, and but the more things change, the more things stay the same. And so our podcast is named Jade, Kothe this week. We are continuing to highlight women, Black women specifically, that have been unjustly murdered or brutalized by police brutality or negligence. This one is very sadly, it's sadly one that is very recent. And so I'll just read. This is from Newsbreak.com. An attorney representing the family of Jade Kothe, a 20-year-old aspiring dancer, says his clients want answers after the Annapolis native turned Floridian died following a police-involved incident in West Palm Beach. Kothe, a beautiful ballerina who aspired to one day own her own dance studio, died at her West Palm Beach, Florida residence on Sunday, June 28th, 2020. At approximately 1:30 a.m. She is the daughter of DJ Conan Elberg of Urban One Radio and fashionista Lana Ray, both of Annapolis. On March 17, 2020, Kothe was sent by her parents to behavioral health of the Palm Beaches in West Palm Beach for treatment of anxiety and depression. After successful completion, she voluntarily transferred to Recovery by the Sea in Stuart, Florida, for drug addiction treatment. Upon discharge, Kothe remained in Florida, temporarily residing with her boyfriend. On the evening of the incident in question, Kothe's boyfriend admitted to supplying her with an opiate-based controlled dangerous substance, drugs, let's just call it what it is, and she became lethargic. He called 911. The family says an ambulance never arrived. While Kothe was reportedly placed in an SUV in order to transport her to an area hospital, a West Palm Beach police officer responded. The officer opened the back door of the vehicle, yanked her out to the point where she hit her head on the interior door and on the ground. She was still suffering acute respiratory arrest, and she needed to get to the hospital immediately, or at least we believe administered Narcan to reverse the effects of the opiate-based controlled dangerous substance, said family attorney J. Wendell Gordon. Kothe's family says authorities have not talked with them about her death, nor have they released her remains from their custody. A spokesperson, West Palm Beach Police Department spokesperson, West Palm Beach Police Department spokesperson did not immediately respond to requests for comment.
Another day, another cover up.
So I don't have any nice way of getting out of that. It is what it is, and it shouldn't be what it is. And more on this as it prayerfully develops in a very positive, or what we can salvage as a positive manner. So now we're getting into hopefully we got something here, but if not, it is what it is. A topic that was birthed out of Victoria not speaking up so much, and us more so. It was more so like us just and I say me included, but us just talking over Victoria. But it's birthed something beautiful, I believe. A really great segment in our podcast called Victoria, What Are Your Thoughts? So, Victoria, anything that you want to talk about or discuss that we haven't spoken about in this podcast or at all, ever?
One, wear your mask. Y'all getting on my nerves. No, for real. Like, I'm so fed up. And then, so many thoughts. Wear your mask. Stop being dumb. Brian Kemp. Honestly, if there was one person I could punch in the throat, it would be this man.
What do you do now?
So currently, Keisha Lance, mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms, she pushed forward a motion basically saying like, masks are mandated. Wear your mask. We're seeing spikes in, COVID test positive COVID cases. Kemp comes back and he's like, she can't enforce anything. Please follow the outlines that I laid out on June 29th, basically opening the whole city back up. And he literally says, if Mayor Bottoms wants to pass statewide legislation mandating masks, she should do so. Please explain to me how the mayor of a city is supposed to pass statewide legislation, governor of a state.
Exactly.
Like, make that part make sense. And I don't appreciate how he's up here just saying like, well, people know they should wear masks. That's why it's not mandated. Like, we're all sensible enough to know that masks should be required. And I'm like, well, sir, obviously that is not the case when you have people out here cutting up and our cases are going through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And now on top of that, he is now suing Mayor Bottoms, which that is just a layered situation in and of itself, because Mayor Bottoms, a Black woman, is not the only mayor who has passed and basically been like, we're not paying attention to Kemp. She is not the only mayor who has done that, but she is the only Black woman. And so in that lawsuit against her, he's also trying to suppress her voice, saying that she cannot release press releases or anything else around the subject of like mask mandates and just how people should be behaving in the midst of this pandemic. And so, yes, very fed up because nothing makes sense. It's just like, why don't y'all want us to get why don't y'all want us to get out of this? Like, New York is even at a point now where like they're leveling out, things are improving, but meanwhile, down south, it's just, we just look crazy, and
y'all look nuts.
Like, I'm like, there's just like this deep embarrassment. Like, I'm embarrassed to be down here right now because it's a circus, and I'm very much over it. And I'm so tired of seeing people out and about on like.
You know what it is? You know what I think it is? Whatever spirit that is, it's the same spirit that condones the Confederate flag.
We'll go with that.
That's what it is to me.
We'll go with that.
It's the same spirit that doesn't see racism or thinks that like, well, let me do whatever I want to do. It doesn't make any sense. And so
very unclear.
Yeah, it's really
but yes, so that is a topic of importance to keep in mind. Also, please be aware that protests are still happening around the country. Our poor excuse of a president is currently allowing unmarked, unidentifiable federal agents into certain cities, and they are just kidnapping people and putting them into unmarked vans and driving them away, and no one knows where some of these people are. So,
what?
Yes. So President Trump, it was, oh crap, I always mix these, Seattle, Portland.
I can see how you mix that up. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, in my mind, they both, I'm like, the super hipster cities in the Midwest.
I can see it.
But presently, there are federal agents who Trump told to go out there under the guise of they are protecting federal statues and monuments. And essentially, these agents, you can't identify them. You don't know where they fit into the law enforcement breakdown. They're just in army fatigue and running around cities, attacking protesters. There have been videos surfacing of them just coming up and antagonizing protesters, taking people, like literally an unmarked car will pull up that's been rented from Enterprise. Apparently, Enterprise is supplying these cars.
I know I rock with Enterprise. I know
always suspect. Pulling up, and then all of a sudden you see them detain a protester, throw them into this car, and speed off. What are they doing? Where are they taking them? Who knows? And now it's slowly spreading down the West Coast because now there have been reports of this happening in San Diego. And apparently the whole goal of this for Trump was to test it out in Portland and then see how it goes and then implement this same strategy in other cities across the country. So it's just hot mess. Like, it's me and my sister joke. We're just like, come 2021, like, not even joking, like, we're low-key kind of serious. It's like the way we're going right now, like, we're like, what are we going to look like in 2021 is definitely not a developed country because the way things are going right now and things are just being destroyed left and right, and like people's rights not being respected. It's just like
it's not so much a joke.
It's not really. That's the thing. I was like, well, we're not like, we're joking, but we're not joking because it's just like, this is about, like, it's about to look 10 shades of crazy. It already does.
It already does.
And it's only getting, and I think that's also just like in the midst of everything with like C.T. Vivian and Congressman Lewis passing. It's just like, it's getting crazier. And I'm just like, I don't even know what to make of anything at this point. Like, I don't know what's up from down.
Listen, the only constant outside of change is the Lord. You better put your hands in the hand of the man that stilled the waters. Like, people out there, you have to trust him. All other ground is sinking sand. Like, all the stuff that people have put their hope in is just, if you can't see my hands, I'm trying to do like a dissolve effect. You went outside for the first time in forever the other day.
Oh, yeah. It was my 2-week allowance.
What?
I only really go outside every 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
But yeah. Ran some errands, got some takeout. It was great. I didn't have to cook something for a change.
Sheesh. How you liking this life?
Just accept it.
Yeah, okay. You ain't. Because some people, and I don't want to belittle people, but some people, they need therapy and they've got to go and, they feel a way about it. I saw a post of this one neighborhood. They were doing like a screen meetup at 5:00. Like, yo, are you tired of being quarantined? Like, let's go meet up at a park at 5:00 and just scream. You're not tripping. That's pretty.
I'm not gonna say I'm not.
That's
tripping.
A blessing.
I definitely have my moments where I'm like, I do miss my friends. I miss being able to like interact with people the way that even me as like not an extreme extrovert. Like, I still do miss like those elements, but I think at the same time I'm just like, well, what I do know is that I'm choosing to be responsible. If I do go out, I go out and I wear a mask. I usually go out very early. And I see people when I can see them. And I'm alive and I'm healthy. So it's just like, things could be better. I could be on a ventilator somewhere.
This is true.
So
I knew I had to get out and do something really early though, because for me, I just can't just be in the house. So I decided to essentially work, and so that's what I've been doing, and it's caused me to be around people. So I had to realize I speak about it in this pompous way of like, y'all just staying out. And then I realized I'm like, I'm around people all day, And
It's
so,
a very real thing.
yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, like when we see my parents, we still wear masks. So
y'all are, that's good. They probably take it very, very seriously because of you.
They do. And my dad's still working technically. Like he's a truck driver, so he's by himself a lot. But
my father told me that when I came back from North Carolina that I had to wear a mask around the house. I said no. I'm gonna stay in the hotel for a couple of weeks. He was like, "No, don't do that." I was like, "I ain't about to walk around with it."
I'm screaming, Keith.
What?
You passed the Mason-Dixon line. Everybody south of the Mason-Dixon line has been cutting up. Not saying that y'all were, but
no. Well, he actually came down with us, so there's no need at this point.
Oh, I'm screaming! Wait, I forgot that you're. Wait, never mind. What? I take back everything I said.
What?
I mean, y'all was all in the same space, so it doesn't matter.
Right. Exactly.
Y'all should just all quarantine together.
Well, the job that I have now, I have very, very little human interaction. I'm in the car all day, so they didn't care. I told them I was going to North Carolina. They was like, okay.
I'm done.
All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Thank God for the Group Chat. I spoke to Lon. Lon will be returning soon, sometime next month. Me knowing Lon for a little bit now, and when I say a little bit, probably almost 10 years now. Yeah. No, I've known Lon for 10 years. Like a legit 10 years. Wow. Oh, wow. First time thinking about that. I've learned not just him, but like from my experience, like don't question your friends. If they say that they need something from you, don't try to rush them to do just pretty much anything. But that's one of the things I learned from Lon specifically is like you got to give him time and you got to give him space. Lon gives so much of himself. And I know that to be true, just from personal experience with him, that like when he asks for something for himself, just do it, you know? So I just asked him nicely. I'm like, fam, like, and, just genuinely asking, like, cause we got to make moves for the podcast, but also like, I want to know, like, we need like a timeline. If you were to say next year, okay, cool. Now we got to know. Now we know what to do for next year, up until next year. But he said August, sometime in August. And so great. So we going to hold him to sometime in August so I could go back to being a B mic where I'm comfortable. So thank you.
You've done a wonderful job holding it down.
Thank you. Do you want to host one of these one day?
I don't.
I know you don't.
We are both introverts, so it's just.
Oh my gosh. We need and if any of you wants to come up here and talk trash and be disagreeing with us on this podcast, just give me a holler and I will send you the Zoom link. We can handle it. All right. Thank you, Victoria, for being here today.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Holy Spirit, for being here with us as always.
Amen.
Amen. All right. Peace. Oh, one more thing. I pray this helps return soon, probably as soon as Lon gets back. Maybe a little bit sooner, but definitely when he gets back. Peace.